Hello everyone, Ronnie here from Chargers TV, just providing you with a quick update here on start times for Friday night. Now we've been advised by NBL1 and had a message come through earlier this evening. Obviously we recorded our preview show earlier today being Wednesday of course, and you'll hear throughout the show me and JB mention 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock tip-off times respectively. That is now not the case. I'm just going to read what I've been given here by a message, which has been due to the current COVID situation, we have been asked to delay the start time of the women's game and the men's game by 30 minutes. We will now start 6:30 p.m. on Friday night for the women's game, 8:30 p.m. for the men's game, and of course that will change our broadcast times as well too. So we'll be on air from 6:25 p.m. in the women's on Friday night, and then of course 8:25 p.m. For the men's game as well too. So just delayed by 30 minutes and just allowing that extra time for Mount Gambier to get here to the Kingborough Sports Centre and go from there. So disregard the times that you'll hear in the show. So as we usually would mention, and traditionally it's 5:55 p.m. Air time and 6 o'clock tip-off time, 7:55 and 8 p.m. then respectively. Disregard those times for this week, folks. As you'll hear me and JB in the show say that. That's why I'm putting this message now, just before we go into the show, just to let you know those updated times. So once again, we'll just repeat it. It is 6:25 p.m. When we go to air by the NBL1 website and the NBL app. 6:30 p.m. tip-off for the women's game. 8:25 p.m. will go on air by the NBL1 website and the NBL app for the men's game, and it's an 8:30 start for the guys there as well too. So that's all the information you need to know currently right now. Enjoy the show. It's a jam-packed show. We review the women's game from the road trip, we review the men's game, we look ahead to obviously Mount Gambier on Friday night and talk about a couple other things as well too. So sit back, relax and enjoy this week's edition of the preview show. Hello everyone, welcome along to Chargers TV. Ron Riggs, Justin Bryan alongside you here, and JB, welcome to the show.
Yeah, back in the studio. We had a bit of a week layoff last week. Podcast version, a very extended version of the podcast, but I thought it was worth it. A lot of notable news. Off the road, coming off the back of a road trip, we're back at home this Friday night. A lot of action to cover.
Absolutely, and let's get straight into it. As round 6 concluded over the weekend in NBL1 South, and let's start off with the women's results. And not a great weekend for our women's team on the road. They lost to Dandenong 72-93. Ellie Collins still had a decent game, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Kylie McCauley with 17 points and 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, Shana Thompson had 16 points and 7 rebounds. For Dandenong, Emily Harmon with 26 points and 7 rebounds. And
Dallas Lockridge, by the looks of that, 25, 5 and 5. Big game for her.
And Sherry Glennie with 15 points and 3 rebounds. So let's skip over to Sunday. And they're up against a very tough Sandringham side, going down 81-49. And Shana Thompson with top scoring with 12 points and 5 rebounds. Also Kylie McCauley, co-top scoring with 12 points and 6 rebounds. Ellie Collins with 11 points and 8 rebounds. Meanwhile for Sandringham, the Australian Opals captain and Tokyo bound Jen O'Hay with 21 points, 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Amy O'Neill with 17 points, 8 rebounds and 9 assists. Not too far away from...
Yeah, triple-double alert right there.
My word. And Cassandra Hill with 15 points and 4 rebounds. We're able to catch up with Mark Nash earlier today at the weekly press conference, and here's what he had to say.
It really will be. It's certainly a tough weekend on the road. We had an outstanding half against Dandenong. We were really good, followed the game plan, got the ball inside, and Ellie Collins and Kylie McCauley, particularly in that first half, were getting really high percentage baskets. We were 65% from the field. And unfortunately, the second half we went away from that. And then Sunday, my reflection on that was our worst performance of the season. So quick turnaround, but we're absolutely looking forward to being at home this Friday.
So the thoughts there from head coach Mark Nash. And JB, a tough weekend on the road for the girls. What do you make of the weekend summary?
Oh, it's tough, really. Maddie Garrick not there. We wish her the best of luck. As we record,
Absolutely.
She'll be playing Japan tonight at 7 o'clock, and I believe they've got
yes.
Ukraine at 9:30, I think, as well.
Yes.
They do have a second game that will be at 9:30 as well. Best of luck to her. No Taylor Roberts on the road either. We've heard that she's suffering a finger injury that could have her out 3 to 6 weeks. Played a great first half in their opening game and very much struggled to be sighted for the next game and a half. After that, it was always going to be a tough road trip. I mean, you heard Mark in his press conference speak about how he was happy with the first half. Just really struggled in the second half of their first game there against Sandringham, or against Dandenong, I should say. And then, back to back, struggling with personnel, struggling with energy and effort, blown off the floor in their second game's only way to put it, Ronnie, to be honest with you. The reliance of Taylor and Maddie, when you lose your two leading scorers, that's going to hurt as well. It's good to see Ellie really trying to put in where she could there. But it's a matter of who's going to step up now, who's going to play with the energy and effort coming off the road. Backs against the wall here at home, playing against Mount Gambier women for the first time, I do believe, here at home. And as Mark said in the presser, it's this is a get business done. No disrespect to our opponents, but this is a game backs against the wall. Got to get your business done if you're going to be looking to take the second half of this competition seriously. Obviously, we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Hobart wanting to, 50-50 after these, after getting their win against Diamond Valley. Would have been nice to split one on the road and then, be, say, 4-2 after 6. I think at this point they're going to be looking at 4-4. But I think the real question is who's going to step up here? Maddie Garrick no longer with the side. Taylor Roberts looking to be out for an extended period, so they're going to be lacking their height. Tallest player at the moment is Kylie. A lot of people got to step up. A lot of people got to take responsibility here. Coach Nash feeling the pressure himself. Players got to be feeling the pressure themselves. This is a matter of put up and shut up at this point. 1-7. I believe
we'll get the ladder up later on in the show.
1-7 through 8. Mount Gambier coming down as well. They've only got the one win, but they're going to be playing. All the pressure's now on Hobart once again. Same thing with Diamond Valley. Both teams only have the one. Most teams travel pretty lightly, so the expectation really isn't that Mount Gambier are going to come down here and get a win. The expectation is that Hobart are going to get the job done at home. So, this is a game where you've got to get the business done, but at the same time, a lot of pressure on the Chargers because, as we know, last time they had a game that wasn't so much pressure at home. That was against Diamond Valley, and Diamond Valley really give it to them for 3 quarters. So
they did.
The girls really have to step up. Energy and effort, we talk about it all the time. They've just got to bring it. No excuses. Head down, bum up, get the job done on both ends of the floor. It's put up or shut up.
Absolutely. Friday night at the Kingborough Sports Centre, 6 o'clock tip-off for the women's game. And JB, I feel like I've got to say this. It's you got to play with nothing to lose. Let's forget it. Just throw everything out the back door. Play with nothing to lose, and let's see if the women's side can really pounce here and get a win on Friday night against Mount Gambier, who will be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And as I mentioned, the big thing for Mount Gambier, they're in the same position. So you've got to understand that while you're coming out with this, we got nothing to lose. Let's just go out there, get the job done. So is Mount Gambier. Mount Gambier's on the road. They're going to be going up against Launceston the following night as well. So as we've seen with teams that come down, they've got to be, managing their minutes, managing their injuries, because the last thing I want to do is get up the road, a man or two down the following night. So it's going to be key for them. Mount Gambier are going to look at this schedule and go, well, our best chance to get a win on the road in Tassie is going to be Hobart on Friday night. It's going to be balls to the wall from them, but Hobart need to understand as well, okay, you've got nothing to lose, but you've got a lot of pride and respect on the line here at home. You've won one game all season. That's at home. You need to build it as a fortress. Again, girls do have to play freely, but again, energy, effort, consistency, head down, bum up. Everyone's got to put it in on both ends of the floor. You can't be demanding shots on one end and, acting like a turnstile on the other side.
That's right.
And vice versa. If the coach gives you a role and says, look, I need you to go and stop her. If you stop her and we score points, we win in this game. Do that. At the end of the day, we're potentially looking at the moment at a 1-7 start through 8 games. 7 behind 500, let alone being in the top 8. So to me, again, play freely like you've got nothing to lose, but realistically, you have everything to lose. You're at home. You've only won one game for the season. You need to put some pride on the board, and look at the mini goal. At that point, you've won 2 of your last 4. You've got home next week. You can make that 3-2 over your last 5. That's where a building block comes from. If they lose this weekend, I don't know what to say.
Well, we'll soon find out Friday night, JB. Going to be an interesting matchup, that is for sure. And again, 6 p.m. tip-off. We're on air from 5:55 p.m. I'm looking forward to this matchup, not only between that it's Hobart and Mount Gambier, but as we mentioned, JB, Mount Gambier, the Mount Gambier women's side here for the first time in competition history.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of firsts here at Kimber Sports Centre. I believe it was the first time Eltham had brought down their team as well. I think Diamond Valley was also close to a first, or it had been quite a long extended period since Diamond Valley had been down as well. So, you know, there's a lot of things really sitting in Hobart's favour at the moment. It's going to be great to see Mount Gambier down, and no doubt as competitive as their men's team usually is against the Hobart Chargers, I've got no doubt their women's team is going to be competitive as well. So it's going to be a really fun game to call, hopefully a really fun game to watch as well, and hopefully our girls come out on top.
We'll soon find out. Of course, you can watch it all live and free through the NBL One website or the NBL app. And, of course, we'll put out the links on our socials for you on Friday. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to go JB sponsor roll call and then come back with the men's results for you right after this.
On behalf of the McKay Timber Hobart Chargers, naming right McKay Timber, our platinum sponsors for the women McKay Timbers, for the men Clennett's Minor 10, our gold sponsor Swisho Hoops Academy, our bronze sponsors Halls Water Wastewater Treatment Services, Jayco Hobart and Salters Hire Contra. Shout out to our scoreboard hero and our graphics you will see on social media, core staff, our community partner Wilson Homes, our mental health partner Speak Up Stay Chatty, our media partners in the Mercury, 7HOFM and Beetle Black Media, our corporate box sponsors including THA, Davey Street Discount Pharmacy, Lion Co and North City Cars. Our coaches sponsors tonight, Dobson Mitchell Allport sponsoring Mark Nash, and core staff again sponsoring Anthony Stewart. Finally, our player sponsors, Rockwell Bar and Grill, Precision Plumbing, Tas Trans Enterprises, Sam Proprietary Limited, The Barbershop, Bellamac, Home Smarts, Mermaids Takeaway, The Hanging Garden, Halls Water Wastewater Management, Bulk Nutrients, JMC and Express Service Centre. As they say in the classics, Ronnie, yibbida yibbida.
And welcome back. Let's get to the men's results for you now. Saturday night up in Dandenong. Hobart put up a tough battle in this one, but went down by 19 in the end. Dandenong 105, Hobart 86. Jonathan Mines top scoring with 34 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Zach White chipping in with a nice double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds. Meanwhile, Cohen Sapwell had 14 points and 7 rebounds. Meanwhile, for Dandenong, Sean McDonald with 23 points and 6 assists. Oliver Hayes-Brown, who had a big night on the boards too.
Massive night.
He battled hard. I watched this one on live stream, JB. 19 points, 16 rebounds and 5 assists as well too.
That'd be Marley Bayandolo. There we go.
Yes, 12 points and 4 rebounds. Dandenong do come down later in the season, JB, so we'll have our work cut out there.
Return battle.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, on the Sunday, Hobart do post now their high score of the season, eclipsing the 108 they did in Melbourne, and they got the win against Santry big time, 113 to 89. Cohen Sapwell had a nice day out and got himself into the NBL 1 Team of the Week as well.
Absolutely, well done to Cohen.
34 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Jonathan Mines chipped in once again with 24 points, 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Jacob Richards had a nice game, 20 points, 10 rebounds and 4 assists. Kunai with 25 points and 17
Another
rebounds.
Massive battle on the boards there.
Yes. Nicholas Gabash had 19 points and 3 rebounds, and Tom O'Brien had 13 points and 4 assists. JB, your thoughts from the weekend with the men's games? Obviously, Dandenong put up a really great battle and a tough fight, and a good bounce-back win on Sunday for our boys against Santry.
Yeah, well, we really talked about it with John O'Mine's post-press conference, and we'll get to him a little later there. But one thing John O said was that Dandenong, even on the floor, sort of sensed that there was going to be some issues, you know. Hobart went in with a mindset of a 2-2, and, I mean, they realistically had a genuine 2-2 chance. They'd be disappointed with themselves they didn't get the 2-0 on the road. 1-1 they're pretty happy with, but against Dandenong, you know, it didn't matter what Hobart tried to do. You know, when shooters get hot and keep shooting, very hard to miss. And I mean, we give that to Diamond. Not to Diamond Valley the other week. Was it Diamond Valley actually?
Elfin?
It was where we went 40 points.
Diamond Valley.
It was Diamond Valley, yeah. I thought,
Yes.
apologies there. I knew it was Diamond Valley. So you can imagine how Diamond Valley felt when we just couldn't miss either. So, you know, very similar. You know, Dandenong went on that run. Hobart doing what they, you know, their best that they could do. But really persevered. I mean, they could have really dropped their heads going, wow, we've come on the road, gone down to a side that's below us. What have we got in store? Well, they come back and did the exact same thing in return to Sandringham. So they did really, really well. While Cohen Sapwell certainly got in the NBL 1 Player of the Week, really unlucky. John O'Mines there, averaged 29 on the road.
Yes.
He was unlucky, of course. Cohen getting it done in the win. really setting up there as well. But again, same thing for the boys. You know, they rebounded off that loss. They managed to split the road 1-1. They're still above 500. They've got a genuine shot against Mount Gambier, and again, another battle, really tough battle going to ensue for them on Friday.
Absolutely. Now, before we preview Friday night against Mount Gambier, we had Jonathan Mines thrown it up to the media in absence of Anthony Stewart.
Oh, well, never. Heard it was a very late call up too, mind you.
Yes, work commitments from Anthony Stewart disallowed him to come to today's press conference. But here's what Jonathan Mines had to say.
Yeah, I thought it was a really successful road trip for what we wanted to accomplish. Obviously, you want to go 2-0. We're able to split the weekend, and our goals are worst case scenario: split the road, take care of home.
So the thoughts there from Jonathan Mines and JB, obviously Friday night. Our arch rivals, Mount Gambier, come back into town after a 3-year hiatus, and really looking forward to this matchup. And obviously we've put out the footage of the 2018 home game from the DEC, which was really good to watch back actually early today before recording. And this should be a great matchup. Mount Gambier, similar record to us. And I tell you, it's just going to be a ring-a-ding-ding match.
Absolutely. And the one thing that Mount Gambier do, they do a lot of things that Hobart do as well. Whether they've got the talent or not, whether they've got the size or not, they play above and beyond themselves. And game after game, week after week, you can't teach and coach effort, and that's something that Mount Gambier really never have had to do. Obviously, you go back and look at the footage of that game of 2018 against our championship Chargers. But, I mean, that was a game where it didn't matter what sort of streak Hobart got on it. It didn't matter what they did. Obviously, a different side. Yeah. But, they didn't quit. They fought it out, and that's what Mount Gambier is bound to do on Friday night. As you said, similar record. They're on a back-to-back, going up against 2 top 8 teams, but they're also going to look and go, well, okay, Thunder are further up the ladder. Yes. The game we feel that we can get on the road to split it 1-1 is going to be here in Hobart. And as you mentioned, a rival, but not a rival in a sense. There's no, there hasn't been many championship, there obviously has been championship battles and finals battles and stuff, but you don't look at it sort of like a Knox. You don't look at it like a Northwest Thunder where there's that real sense of rivalry. Yeah. They're the rivalry that's not, but it's off the back that they play very similar, play above themselves, always put in the effort. And again, they're going to be hungry. 1-1 is what most teams like to do on the Tassie road trip. They're going to see Hobart as the easier target, so they're going to bring it 100%. But at the same time, we've got guys that are really capable of stepping up as well. John O'Mines coming off a road trip, averaging 29. Cohen Sappel off Team of the Week effort. And a shout out to Cohen, because I know he had a lot of questions asked of him of Coach Stewart during the week last week. Responded brilliantly. Zach White always plays above his skin. We've got locals that are playing really well. This is going to be a fun and exciting matchup. Can't wait to call this one. 8 o'clock, 7:55 on air. Get your tickets if you can. We'll get to that very shortly. But going to be an absolute heater of a game. We're going to have a guest with us as well, which I think we can reveal a little later as well.
Yes, we will be revealing that.
So going to be a massive game, massive night for us. I can't wait to see it. Could be game of the year potential once again.
It could well be. It was right up there for game of the season back in 2018. That and then the Hobart v Launceston one up in Launceston went into overtime as well. That was the two games.
Massive game.
There were 2 games there right up there for game of the year. Just before I throw to the ladders, the coaching battle. Anthony Stewart take on Richard Hill. Stewie loves coaching against Richard Hill because Richard does throw all these different kind of strategies and makes Stewie think a little bit more. But the coaching matchup should be an interesting one. Not that we look into that too deeply, but a fun one nonetheless.
Yeah, well, I think that's another thing that's indicative of how their sides play as well. Hill doesn't expect his players to play out of their skin. He does like when they play within themselves, but the thing is he develops strategies to allow these players to get the most out of themselves without having to really burst their bubble. Meanwhile, as we've talked about with Coach Stewart all year, he's a very offensive-minded player, but he's a very defensive-minded coach, and he wants that execution defensively all the time. So, it's going to be a great battle, which in turn is going to add to the battle on the floor.
All right, let's have a look at the ladders. We'll share that. You've shared that here, Tom's already, JB. Thank you. So let's have a look. Frankston on top in the women's division at the moment. They're 9-0. Launceston actually second at the moment. They got a road double win on the weekend back in round 6. So they're 6-2. And then we're all the way down. I think it's
4th last there.
Yeah, 15th or 16th. I can't think of this.
We are looking. I believe it's 19 team comps. That would have us sitting 16th. Mount Gambier at 17th, just below us, 1-6. We are 1-7. and not much percentage changing up there either. So if Mount Gambier get the 1-1 on the road, they will leapfrog us.
Yes, they certainly will, JB. So again, as we mentioned, an important matchup for our women's team. Let's go to the men's now. And the Northwest Thunder on top at the moment, 7-1, playing some really good basketball at the moment, JB.
Absolutely, as we've talked about, a team that doesn't have a great deal of height outside of Paul Campbell, didn't have a massive influx of imports, but a great local core group that's playing within themselves, playing really well, great chemistry. It's good to see.
Absolutely. Frankston, they're second, 7-2. Mount Gambier in fourth at the moment with 5-2 record. Now, they've only played 7 games, but they're up on percentage. We've played 8 games at the moment, 5-3 with 104 percentage there. And then Geelong, who come into town next week, are just below us in 7th.
Yes, so a lot to play for the men there. Obviously, Hobart really knocking on that top 4 there. They've beat Diamond Valley. They want to beat Mount Gambier. Obviously, the Thunder wanting to beat Mount Gambier as well. So we could see a shuffle there. And obviously, Geelong next week, which we'll get into next week. So
yes. 2
massive games, to get 2-0 at home to then go back on the road. It's going to be a massive couple of weeks for the men.
Absolutely, and it's a massive couple of home games for us too. And you can find out everything throughout all our social media. You can follow us on, you can give us a like on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, you can follow us on Instagram, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. So don't forget to keep up to date with all the goings on here for your McKay Timber Hobart Chargers. Now, JB, you mentioned it earlier, that we will have a special guest in commentary with us on Friday night in the men's game, and we're happy to reveal, because of the shootathon happening as well too.
Happening the following night.
Yes, and we'll touch on that in the next part here. But Cal Bruden is coming down, and he's agreed to join us on commentary for Friday night, JB.
Should be good. We're hoping to get Cal for a halftime interview to start things. Cal's very generous with his time. We do thank him in advance. What can't we say? What is there to say that hasn't already been said about
Correct.
Cal? Always generous with his time, whether it's running clinics, whether it's providing coaching opportunities, whether it's providing a talk with us or talk with anyone that wants to catch up with him. Cal's always pretty generous. A lot of hot topics floating around. Obviously, he's here for the shootathon. Yes. He's a very big mentor of Jono mine, so I know he's going to be pretty pleased to see Jono out the floor, knowing that he's on some red-hot form as well. He's here for the shootathon, and obviously some questions surrounding his son CJ up in Brisbane with the Bullets as well. So a lot going on there with Cal, but it's going to be great. We'll get him for a halftime interview. Myself, Ronnie and Jacob will be on the headset. We'll all have headsets. We can hear each other. We'd like to give a shout out to Scott Roth, by the way, who was very generous with his time against Diamond Valley. 2 big exclusives for Chargers TV in 2 weeks. Just the #1 media team in the NBL 1 period. So it's going to be great to have him, and no doubt Jacob doing some work with the pick and roll as well. He'll be able to probably sneak a nice little interview with Cal as well. So no, it's going to be great to have him on board. But as we mentioned, he's down for the shootathon that's happening the following night.
Yes, and that is all happening on Saturday morning through to Sunday morning, the 24-hour shootathon
I believe
challenge.
midday to midday, I believe they're running it. Is it Ronald or is it 4 till 4? Something like that.
Something like that.
It's 12 hours. It's 24 hours. That's all we know.
I heard an 8 a.m. start.
That probably makes sense, actually. Yeah.
And then 8 a.m. through to Sunday morning.
We'll get the graphic on the screen so everyone knows the time.
Yes.
Good save.
So their target, they're about $5,000 off, I think, to 50,000 now. They've been everyone working entirely hard throughout the Hobart basketball community, and it's great to see, JB.
Yeah, Simon and Adam really leading the charge there. Of course, you can find that interview up on our YouTube channel, I do believe, as well. I believe the initial target was $25,000, and they blew that out of the water not long now to reach that 50,000 goal, which has been awesome. Obviously looking to get a celebrity team, so to speak, rolling around. So I know we've got Zoe Banks and Will from Hobart. We have a young Bruton also on the team as well. Cow's there as well. Obviously Cow, a little north of the old 6-0, I don't think can run around as much anymore. He's been a bit banged up and injured, but he's recruited some absolute superstars as only Cow can do. It's going to be great. All money raised for Ronald McDonald House down at the Swisher there, K&D site. Grand opening, so to speak. So it's going to be really good. I've got to work during the day, but I'm hoping to pop down later that night to see how everyone's shooting, potentially donate a little myself. You won't see me on a shooting machine, that's for sure. Okay. I guarantee you that. But no doubt, go down and check that out. That's going to be great. Cal in town for a good cause, and a good cause in general for Ronald McDonald House. Nearly at 50 grand. Shout out and congratulations to all shooters and donators on that one.
Absolutely. And of course, the Chargers TV cameras will be there in and out throughout the day. And then, of course, we'll send JB down after he's worked and see if he can
Perfect way to spend a Saturday night, Ronnie.
See if he can get a couple of interviews before we allow him to.
Might sample a few shots myself. So
right.
we'll go down and see all the celebrities floating around. But no, again, shout out to Aaron, shout out to Simon, and shout out to everyone who's organised that through the Revellers Basketball Club. Great initiative. $50,000 is no feat to scoff at. So well done to everyone involved.
Absolutely. Right. So. Now, tickets available online, JB,
Absolutely.
of course, and of course...
Plenty of tickets available online.
Yes, plenty. So make sure you get in. Otherwise, watch us on the live stream, which we'll mention in a second. But of course, obviously, COVID protocols and restrictions, and check in Tassie, please.
Absolutely. Same as always. So again, get your tickets online at Try Booking. You can get that through our social. You can get it through our website. Again, if you can't get to the game, nbl1.com.au
yes.
or the NBL app. We will post links on our socials roughly half an hour to 15 minutes before game time. If you are coming to the game, remember the 2 times you check in, top of the stadium as you come in, make sure you use the Check-in Taz app. That's not only for us, that's also for the Sports Centre. They've got to know their capacity, and we really, again, don't want to affect them. There's a lot of clubs and associations that run their competitions out of the Sports Centre, and we don't want to have issues with the Sports Centre. Yep. Otherwise, the last thing you need is the Chargers and other competitions needing a new home on the fly. Get downstairs, the girls on the door or any of the ushers, they will scan you in with your ticket. And then we're good to go. We've had really good response from everyone following our protocols and restrictions, and we want to keep that up as well. Hoping towards, the middle to the end of next month, once we can sort of mix and match and submit a few things, hopefully at 100% capacity, and I don't think we're too far away from that. But yeah, well done and congratulations to everyone so far, but I do encourage everyone, 2 massive home games over the next 2 weeks. Get to the Sports Centre, get a front row seat, enjoy the action live. There's no better place to be on a Friday night than the Kingborough Sports Centre.
That's right. NBL 1 South at its finest. Mount Gambier this Friday night. Geelong next Friday night. We'll touch more on Geelong in next week's show, but really looking forward to Friday night. So we're on air from 5:55 p.m. As always, you will hear JB play-by-play. I will jump in on special comments as per usual, and then we're on air from 7:55 for the men at 7:55 p.m. I should have had. We'll switch the roles.
Yeah, don't tune in Friday morning.
No,
even we'll be asleep.
Yes, still be in bed. We'll switch the roles around. I'll be on play-by-play. JB will be in commentary. Cal Bruner will join us half-time and then most of the third quarter as well too. Jacob Dill on the sidelines as always, doing a wonderful job as well too. He did mention in the Riggs and Dill podcast, which you can find on SoundCloud, JB, absolutely enjoying his role when we recorded our latest episode last week. Yeah.
Well, we've just created a brand new dynamic with the way the broadcast's rolling. I know that Launceston in previous years have had Scotty, their expert commentator, go down and get the interview, but to actually have someone down in the huddles and getting, that feel as well. It was even better last week. We were lower to the ground, so we could hear the huddles. We get some better questions and responses there from Jacob. I think we've got the most dynamic broadcast team in the league, bar none. That's not just south, north, east, south, wherever you want to go. The best in the country that isn't on national television. Wink, wink. We've got great work behind the scenes as well. You've got Clint and Felix who are also helping with our socials. Yes. You've got Rod who's doing our photography. You've got the Darren Petty Films crew who no doubt will have a film out of the last home game we had very, very shortly. It's a big joint effort to bring you everything you see on the screens of social media and live on game day as well. And a big shout out to everyone. We've had a great start to the year, nearly halfway through our home game schedule, but plenty more to come, no doubt about that.
Absolutely. Now, to round off our show, we're going to actually show you the Scott Roth interview that we did at halftime in the last home game, and we'll play a little bit of that, and then the rest of it will be up on YouTube. Now, if you're wondering why the camera's not on us, the camera is out on a wide shot at halftime. That's what we always do, but you'll be able to hear all of us speak to Scott, and it was a nice little interview to round off here our show for this week. So on behalf of Justin Bryan, I'm Roll Riggs. We will see you Friday night at the Kingborough Sports Centre.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've done when I've got here is obviously I've gone up north and seen the Northwest Thunder play and trying to be up there, and then down here to watch these guys play, and also obviously the women play in both places. So it's just been good to be out in the state and see the players that are around. It's also good to see the incoming players and kind of go through the process of just seeing who some of these guys are. And and just enjoying myself and watching the game.
And how are you loving the atmosphere here? You've been to a few games already. How are you liking the crowd that's getting involved there, close down the stretch, and there's a bit of noise happening.
Actually, there's been some very good games. I saw a barn burner up in Northwest with the Thunder, and then I came down here the following weekend, another barn burner down here. So it's been exciting. If the temperature was a little bit different in here, it'd be nice and warm, but I feel like I'm in a refrigerator, but that's part of being in here.